Across the world, ambitious young people are finding that a university degree is no longer a passport to a graduate career.
We do know that technology is changing work faster than we've ever seen it change anything before, and we're trying to keep up with the pace of that.
The breakneck pace of technological transformation is leaving the education system behind. How can schools and universities better prepare young people for success in the job market?
Universities' positions on AI have been hurting them and students. The positions have been, if you use it, we'll assume you're cheating. Universities are realizing that they need to build it into each discipline.
I'm Isabel Berwick. I lead the FT's Working It brand, speaking, presenting and writing about management, leadership and workplaces. In this series, I'll explore some of the most pressing issues around the future of work and talk to senior leaders about how they are making work better.
This is a journey that you need to go on, usually for several years.
For everyone. Does a university degree still provide the best pathway to a promising career? If white-collar entry jobs are like gold dust, how does a smart 18-year-old gather skills to launch into the working world? Research shows that confidence in the power of a university degree is falling. So if the existing education system is failing the future workforce, what is the fix? School and university curricula are a long way behind the requirements of employers. The university degree is no longer enough to guarantee young people a job after graduation. But there's more. Does the degree give students the skills that employers need them to have to help grow the global economy? Are university graduates prepared for the AI era?
One thing that I think is becoming clear is that employers want to know that people that they hire who are young are kind of AI natives and know how to use these tools. And I really feel sorry for young people because I think they're in this bind where they're at school and university and everyone's telling them, don't lean on AI, don't use AI for your homework. As soon as you get into the world of work, employers are saying, well, we expect you to be really proficient with AI tools. And so there needs to be some way that both you as a young person, but also schools and universities need to think about this.
So, what do young people need to take charge of their own path? I travelled to Neath in South Wales to visit Neath College. This sixth form is taking the initiative to teach young people the digital skills they need for tomorrow's workforce. Savvy educators hope that equipping students with AI skills will prepare them to succeed in an ever-changing workplace.
AI in education is quite a controversial topic. What are you seeing from the students? How do they use it in their work?
AI in education is about sharpening education. It's not about replacing critical thinking tools or anything like that. We've got a major employment event that's happening in Port Talbot, which is around the Celtic Freeport and floating offshore wind. And AI is going to be a huge part of that process. It's about people immersing themselves in roles that they couldn't do previously. So if somebody wanted to see the inside of an engine, they can put the VR goggles on and actually move things around. You know, it is that type of technology which will, it really excites our students.
So Sebastian, we're here to talk about AI in the education system. Can you tell us what you've learned here at Neath?
Personally, I really like the fact that they really endorse AI and they've really allowed us to kind of experiment with AI in a way that's responsible and very useful. For me, I've used it a lot when it comes to revising for my exams, and my teachers introduced me to Notebook LM, and I've been able to use it really effectively, and I think it's really helped me a lot.
Have you been surprised by the ways in which you're encouraged to use AI here?
Yeah, I think it's quite a big change. In my secondary school, it was like a big, it was stigmatized, to kind of like use AI, and they were thinking like you'd always cheat if you used it.
Embracing, rather than banning AI tools, can help students to stay competitive in the current job market. And more teachers are becoming enthusiastic about AI.
If you're a teacher, you've come into the career because you want to help young people. You want them to progress. You want to support their learning. You want to support their future lives. And I think If you don't take on AI yourself as a teacher and learn the skills, then you're doing a disservice to your students, really. We're not preparing them for the world that they are going to enter.
We're in an era of unprecedented disruption, with technology changing as quickly as teachers can master it.
This is a completely new skill that we haven't had before. We haven't needed before. We have actually been quite slow in our digital adoption across the last 30 years.
Louise Ballard co-founded AI adoption agency Athene, which helps organisations build AI literacy. I met her in Neath College's Immersive Lab to talk about how her team is helping the students and educators here to build confidence and advanced AI skills.
We're in this sixth form college which is very forward-looking about AI, but as far as I can see from my research, this is pretty rare.
We're in uncharted waters to a certain extent. This hasn't been how technology has been rolled out up until now. And so there is a bit of an intake of breath right now trying to work out how best to do it. But I genuinely believe every young person should have that opportunity to learn how to leverage this tool.
Louise and her team spearhead workshops for students and staff on how to use AI to boost their learning and prepare for the world beyond college.
So some of the work that we've been doing, working with the English A-level group, so one of their A-level cohort. So we've been showing them how they can use AI in their revision and in their studies. We developed individual revision plans for some of the A-level students so that we knew exactly what the text that they were learning, their learning style, and we were able to develop a kind of two-pager of exactly how they could use AI to enhance their revision. So those are quite successful.
And there are other solutions intended to launch young people into lucrative jobs. Global tech giant Google is partnering with the local education authority in Camden, in North London, to run a pilot after-school programme that could be the model for others to follow. The US tech giant has built a huge new office just down the road in King's Cross, a tech-dominated area that's becoming known as the Knowledge Quarter. It's clear that investment is key to empowering the next generation. Equipping young people with digital skills at this level costs money. Google's AI campus offers an impressive programme for high-potential students. This campus offers AI literacy skills to local students who live in the shadow of tech titans.
So a centre like this is essentially offering students perhaps a broader vision of what's possible at 18 and beyond.
We are in Somerstown. Somerstown is one of the most deprived areas in all of the UK, in London. And the young people that live in the area who can see the beautiful shiny buildings across in the Knowledge Quarter are not the young people who are going across to those jobs. Not because they don't have the talent, not because they don't have the education behind them. Let's teach you this so that you can become the future leaders. It should never be determined by postcode.
We've learned so much, especially with the use of AI and how to fully utilize it. Initially, in the start of the program, we learned prompt engineering, how to prompt effectively to get the target result you're looking for.
Coming here has allowed you to think about more choices at 18.
Yeah.
Would that be true to say?
A lot of people, they're told to go down the traditional route of uni, but that can be very daunting and stuff, because other people, they're more interested in apprenticeships, because obviously unis, it's a lot of debt, and people want to look for an alternative.
This course has managed to very much give me a lot of opportunity towards my work experience and just in general my day-to-day routines and stuff and things that I want to go into later in life. Not only that, I've also managed to secure an internship with Camden Council. That in itself also shows the opportunities that you're able to get with just being at the campus.
What makes the London AI campus unique is its partnership with the tech sector and other big local employers. Students work with mentors who help guide them towards next steps.
That collaboration between industry and educators is really important because industry is where it's really going 100 miles an hour at the moment, and they're the ones who are really setting the stage for the future of work and how these students are going to be using AI in 5-10 years' time. But then that needs to be mediated into a way that 14-year-olds or 16-year-olds can understand.
What would you say to educators and parents and students about how to think about AI perhaps in a more constructive and maybe work-focused way?
AI literacy is much broader than AI is just a force for good. AI literacy is about learning to live in an increasingly AI-impacted world. To understand it is just so vital to prepare students for their lives ahead, which ultimately is what school is about. There is the love of learning, which I'm deeply passionate about, but school is to make sure that students are prepared to go out into the world at 18, a good citizen, and that they're able to flourish in university apprenticeships and ultimately the careers they go on to do. That can't happen now without that understanding of AI.
Helping students to flourish in higher education requires nimble leaders who can craft curricula that reflect the employment market. At the University of Southampton, the leadership team is launching a programme that it says is the UK's first to provide essential AI training for undergraduates. The university's Chief Strategy Officer, Giles Carden, told me about the programme.
We are very strong in AI at Southampton. We have a kind of strategic campaign called AI at Southampton. We treated this very much as an employability strategy. So it's not just AI for the sake of AI because it's the latest big thing. We want our students, our graduates, to have a conferred advantage in getting jobs in the future.
Do you think it's the role of universities to prepare young people for work in a much more intentional way now?
I absolutely do. And if I'm really honest, probably one of the frustrations through my career is not that we've not done anything, we have, but we've not had such a laser-like focus on that as we should have done in the past.
Kate Borthwick, Professor of Digital Education, is in charge of rolling out AI education programmes across Southampton's campuses.
Do you think universities have an obligation to help students become more employable? Because it's not core to a degree sometimes. Are things changing?
I think that's a complicated one. I think we have an obligation to ensure that our students are well prepared and can be successful in the world beyond the University of Southampton. Obviously, that often means the world of work, but it might also mean the world of further study. And more crucially, it means someone going out and contributing to society and to knowledge in an effective and responsible way. And so all of those things are really important to us. And it's important, I think, with AI that all of that is in the mix, with that understanding that our students will go out and they will change and shape the world.
Helping students to change and shape the world calls for new ways of thinking. Kathleen Delasky is an educator and workforce designer. She believes that global universities face major challenges, but also huge opportunities.
So what are the pathways that are not happening at the moment? What could universities be doing that they're not doing to help people become more employable or work ready, as we call it?
The two biggest opportunities that universities have, number one would be to build apprenticeships into a university setting. And the second thing, we call it the micro-credential movement, which is this idea that you could earn a short stack of skills in a particular field, whether it's a cybersecurity role or a medical technician field. In an organization, we work with employers to name the particular competencies that you need, and we create with the university or the college a maybe 6-month to 1-year boot camp, really, But it stacks to a degree, or could stack to a degree.
Pathways that propel young people into professional careers can include collaboration with industry. Professional services firm PwC is offering some 18-year-old entrants a mix of on-the-job training alongside a fully funded degree course.
So we've looked in this film about how the education system might prepare people for work a bit better. What would you say is missing, either in sixth forms or in college settings?
I think some of it's about inconsistency. I'd like to see more consistent digital access or equitable digital access. I'd love to see us have better collaboration between educators and employers so that young people don't feel like they've got this gap, that they understand the skills that they've got through their education, they understand what employers need, and that's just one language. Often what we're seeing is that young people are coming into the workforce who are completely AI and digitally native, and so they have a higher proficiency of skill set across that than often some of our other generations. We are also seeing that they've probably had disruption to some of more the traditional skills that we've seen coming into the workforce as work ready previously.
So what would be your advice to a young person who's 18 or 21 and preparing to enter the workforce, but perhaps hasn't had formal training in digital skills? Is that helpful for them to upskill themselves?
I think it is if they can, but I think that part of what we should be talking to young people about is what careers it is that they want. And some careers will definitely have more access and need for digital skills than others. If people can have access and they can build those skills on their own, I think they absolutely should be. But for a lot of employers, these skills are new to all of us. It's moved so quickly in the last few years that most early careers programs will have some level of training around it. And even if it isn't part of the formal curriculum, often there'll be access to online learning or e-learns within organisations that people will be able to access once they get there. So I think if you've got it, that's great, and hone it and develop it as much as you can. But if you haven't, don't worry too much, because this is new for lots of people, and most employers will be thinking about how we move you forward and develop that in the workplace.
I am Lauren, part of PwC Newcastle. I did the Flying Start degree course in Newcastle University, which is a collaboration between Newcastle University, PwC and ICAW.
So did you think about going for a conventional uni course? What attracted you to this instead?
I did consider doing a normal one because it's kind of like, not pushed towards you, but it's kind of like the normal thing to do is just to go straight to straight out of college, straight to university. And then I looked more into it, and then I thought this is the right path, because I just think it's hard just going to uni with no guaranteed job at the end of it. So knowing that I was going to uni with a guaranteed job at the end, it was just comforting, really. I would say it's definitely different to a normal university course. You got less time off. It was high pressure, because it's not just your degree you're trying to get, it's the good enough grade to get the job here as well.
So you get the degree and you get the experience while you're doing the degree. I mean, that's quite special, isn't it?
It is, and as well you get 12 out of 15 of the ICAW Chartered Accountant qualifications, which just puts you massively ahead of, say if you went to university first and then did this after, doing it the way I did it through the Flying Start course, it just puts you ahead because you've got them 12 exams already.
I think university is still worth it, and that's partly because when you look at what the labour market data is telling us, it seems to be that actually it's people who do already have deep kind of domain expertise and knowledge in whatever it is that they do, who are the ones who seem to be able to use these AI tools in the most kind of discerning, useful ways to get the best out of them, rather than people who actually don't know very much but can somehow be sort of magically upskilled with the use of AI. I think the one skill, if any, that I'm pretty sure we're all going to need, and that actually goes for people like us who are already in the workplace as well, is this ability to continue to learn and to be willing to kind of go through the uncomfortable process of not knowing stuff and figuring it out. And so for a really bright 18-year-old, I would say, figure out how to use AI, but figure out how to use it carefully and with discernment. And if there's something that you really love and you're passionate about, just go for that. Don't study something because you think it's going to get you a job in the future, because trust me, even the biggest experts in the world do not know what the best jobs in the future are going to be.
University isn't just about acquiring skills for the job market. It's about learning about life, how to live independently. It's also about having fun. Yes, a good university is still worth it. But a degree, even a prestige degree, is not enough. You have to take control of your own career and learn AI literacy. And if you aren't lucky enough to get that as part of your course, you need to do it yourself.